Alright people, what's happening, and welcome back to the F1 2021 My Team series here on the channel. Today is the penultimate episode. I think I've used that word correctly. The second to last race of the second season of this My Team series. We have the Australian Grand Prix, almost at the Austrian. We are in Australia, Daniel Ricciardo's home Grand Prix. And as you can see on the screen right now, the standings in the drivers and constructors leaderboards, it is very, very close for the battle for third place. We are just 8 points ahead of Ferrari and just 6 points behind McLaren. So it's really heating up. This battle for third, fourth and fifth is going to come down to the wire. Shout out Idris Elba and those guys over there, Avon Barksdale and that. Anyway, getting into this race today, it is crucial that we get some points going in this race. Hopefully we can have a good qualifying session. The last few weeks, the car has not been very good. You know, we've really stopped progressing as a car, as a team. You know, we haven't upgraded the facilities much. We're saving money for our teammate for next season now, for our second driver. So we haven't been able to upgrade our facilities or anything like that. So the car has really just slowed down compared to the other teams behind us who were Red Bull. You know, at one point we were ahead of Mercedes and Red Bull. But now Ferrari and McLaren are really progressing towards the end of the season, and we've just stopped. But this is going to be the last lap in the qualifying session. As you can see, there's 28 seconds left. We've got a little bit of dirty air coming up the back of Tsunoda's car. Hopefully that doesn't affect us too much. But we will get a slipstream from Tsunoda down the straights here. So hopefully that will make up for the dirty air we might be picking up through the corners. We are down in the delta, but we went green in the first sector. We're down by a tenth. Hopefully we can make that up as we are coming up to the straight section now. And boys, before we get into the race after the qualifying session, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new. Make sure you hit the like button on the video as well. And let's get back to the qualifying lap, as we absolutely cheat and cut the corner there. Should have invalidated the lap, but it didn't, and we absolutely cheated, and I felt really bad for it, boys, for cheating like that. But it is what it is, you know what I mean? We've been terrible the last few races, and I was just fed up, bro. I just wanted a good race for once. I'm trying to get a good qualifying position. We go deep on the final corner there, lose a bit of time, about half a tenth, or a whole tenth actually. We lost through the final sector there. We get a nice toe over the line from Tsunoda though, which brings us back up, and we go nearly 3 tenths quicker on our previous lap. And let's see where that puts us. We were in P18 before that lap. Let's see where that puts us after cutting the corner and cheating like that. It's going to put us, Nico Rosberg, down in P11, and it's going to put us in P16. So we make it through to Q2 for the first time in a long time. But it is not very promising looking in terms of pace in the car for this weekend. So it's not very promising that we will get through to Q3. But like I say, boys, this is the second to last race. We have one more race to come on Monday. This will be a Friday that you watch this video on, I think, if I've got the upload schedule right. Monday we will have the season finale, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And we will see who gets that third place in the constructors standings. Then on Friday next week, I'm going to start the pre-season. I'm going to do the pre-season video for season 3. So make sure you let me know in the comments, even on this video, because I need to get the videos done. So let me know in the comments, who should we get as our teammate for next season? Now I'll let you know, because I have finished the season. I haven't moved on to season 3 yet, but I will let you know that we do have £13 million in the bank to buy a teammate. So who should we look at getting? Obviously some people might not come to us even with that high budget of 13 mil, which isn't even that high. Everyone's more expensive than that these days with the acclaim increase. But yeah, people might not even come to us because of the specs of our facilities. So let me know in the comments, who should we get as our teammate? I'll ask again on Monday's episode in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which I'd rather you's commented on that one, but I'm just getting it out there now just in case anyone misses that video, because like I say, I need to pre-record these videos. So we crossed the line anyway at the end of this Q2 lap, 9 tenths quicker than our previous lap, and that puts us into P10. Now I thought it was a very good lap, but at the end of the session, you can see Nico Rosberg down in P8. Max Verstappen in P10, qualifying on the medium tyres. We go out in P15. So we're going to start P15 on the grid, minus any engine penalties from the cars in front. Verstappen just scraping through on the medium tyres by a tenth or a hundredth of a second there. Actually get Max Verstappen getting through there. Let's get to the race, boys.
It's race day here in Melbourne as we continue with what could shape up to be one of the best Australian Grand Prix. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 16 corners and 3.3 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles an hour. The close proximity of the barriers makes accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. It's just about time to go to the track for the beginning of the race, but before we do, Anthony Davidson, what types of strategy do you think we can expect for today's event?
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Carlos Sainz and Verstappen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Vettel, Hamilton, Rosberg, they've taken a grid penalty. The owner driver, Stroll, Gasly, George Russell and Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi, Nicholas Latifi and Fernando Alonso. Tigtum, Ocon, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Mazepin and Yuki Tsunoda. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So boys, a few grid penalties come into play there. Yuki Tsunoda, the man who crashed out in lap 1 of the Mexican Grand Prix just this past weekend, he's going to start from the very back of the grid. We changed our strategy from hard soft to soft hard. I didn't want to start on the hard tyres. I don't really like that strategy. We tried it in Zandvoort and I didn't really like it. So we're going to start on the soft tyres, put the fuel all the way down, you know the vibes, and then let's get into the race. So, we are going to be starting in P10, I think we are, aren't we? And then Nico is just in front of us, but it is 5 red lights here in Melbourne, and it is light out and away we go. Max Verstappen off to a great start, or Sergio Perez, sorry, that is, on the pole position, I do believe, as we head down into turn 1, late on the brakes, up the inside of Sebastian Vettel. We get a little wobble on the exit. Nico Rosberg now battling Vettel. Round the outside, we do have Lewis Hamilton wheel to wheel with us, as we head down into turn 2, and we are going to go late on the brakes ahead of Lewis Hamilton, keeper position. Can Lewis send it up the inside though? No, he's not. He's going to settle in behind us in P10. Nico Rosberg off to a great start in front of Sebastian Vettel. It is Lando Norris in P2 up from wherever he started on the grid. Lando is up. That is massive for McLaren in the battle for the constructors, and we try and send one there again on Lewis, really battling with Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc in P4 and P5. The Ferrari's absolutely smashing it, as well as the McLaren there of Lando Norris. Like I say, we're battling for third place. We need me and Nico to have a good race here and get some good points, but Nico's only in P7. We're only in P9 with a very fast and a very angry Lewis Hamilton behind us, who wants to clear us as much as possible, or as quickly as possible, I should say, sorry. But I'm trying to keep Lewis behind because I don't want to lose any places and fall out of the points. So it's a very tough situation right now. We'll have to see how this one plays out. Lewis Hamilton is not going to give up very easy as we head towards lap 2. We managed to defend Lewis into turn 1 there of lap 2, and then we get later into the lap. He's still behind us, but Sebastian Vettel just out of sight, as you can see there. He's still in range, but I think we are out of DRS range on Vettel, so we're not going to have DRS when Lewis does get it, obviously at the end of lap 2 when DRS opens on lap 3. We're going to go wheel to wheel now. Again, Lewis looking to make a move. We have to defend. We're losing a bit of time just from defending Lewis. Never mind our race pace. Our race pace was not very good around Australia in this race right here. And we're losing, as you can see, 1.4 seconds behind Sebastian Vettel. And we go very late there, or very deep into the final corner, which allows Lewis to catch up and Sebastian to pull away even more. Now, start of lap 3, it is going to be DRS time, and we are going to have to defend from Lewis. Obviously, he doesn't have it yet, but we're going to have to defend from Lewis down into turn 1 if we manage to keep him behind for another lap. Trying to catch up, though, to Sebastian Vettel, but here comes Lewis Hamilton around the outside, deep into the corner here. We go early on the brakes, which gets us a good entry and good exit out of that corner there from Lewis, who tries to go a bit later on the brakes around the outside of the corner there, but we get much better traction up the inside, early braking there into the corner. But like I say, down this main straight now, Lewis is going to have DRS. This is the start of lap 4, heading into turn 1. He's not close enough to make a move through turn 1. We go onto the grass a little bit there, unsettles the car a little, lose a bit of time, and again it's the same place as last lap. Lewis is going to make a move with DRS, and he gets in front this time. Can we go later on the brakes? We sort of compromise his line. We go out onto the grass though and come back onto the circuit and stay in front of Lewis Hamilton. But now Daniel Ricciardo is just behind Lewis Hamilton as well, the other McLaren car, which we know we really need to hold up and try and not let the McLarens get any points, because we are trying to stay or close the gap actually to McLaren. They're above us in the constructor standings. We need Ricciardo to finish outside of the points, and we need us to finish in the points if possible. So coming through this section now, a bit wobbly. The car just didn't feel good at all. I can't lie to you boys. I don't know if it was the setup or if we just need to upgrade the car, but the last few races the car has felt so bad as we go slow through this middle sector. The AI is so quick through that sector there, and Lewis Hamilton goes up the inside. Almost a bit of contact there, but we're going to go very late on the brakes there, and our front wing just passing Lewis Hamilton there. We can see a replay. I think there was a bit of contact as Lewis went up the inside, and there was no gap there, and he does make contact with our side pods there. Lewis's left front tyre makes contact with the right hand side of our car. Coming through the final few turns of sector 3 now, as you can see, Lewis is so, like, I don't know why we wasted so much time, bro. In hindsight, we should have just let Lewis go past us, but I'll get to that more later on and see if he does actually get past us. Who knows what's going to happen. Another lap later and he's still behind us. He can't close the gap.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Even with the DRS, and we get a new strategy option from Jeff. He wants us to extend the stint on the soft tyres and come in 2 laps later than we were planning on, and go onto medium tyres instead of the hards, because obviously right now we're running soft hard. But he wants us to extend the stint. We are taking a lot of life out of these tyres, battling Lewis Hamilton, as you can see again, wheel to wheel, heading into this corner. It's Lewis up the inside now. We go around the outside and we get a lot better of an exit there compared to Lewis, and we stay ahead. We're taking a lot of life out of these tyres, as you can see. It's lap 8 and the tyres are nearly on 30% for every single tyre in terms of tyre wear. And Lewis comes into the pits there, I think he does. Lewis Hamilton going for the undercut opportunity there. We'll have to see how that plays out. Lap 9 now, we are going to come in a lap later. Let's see if the undercut has worked, but it is Nico Rosberg in the pits in front of us. We were meant to come in a lap later on lap 10. Hopefully the team are ready for us by the time we make it to them at the end of the pit lane. Nico is out on fresh hard tyres. Daniel Ricciardo in the pits behind us as well for McLaren. Daniel obviously coming in behind us. He was behind Lewis when we were battling Lewis before, and the team very slow there on getting the tyres on. It's going to be 3.9 seconds and Daniel Ricciardo overtakes us in the pits, boys. I don't know what was going on there. The team still had the used softs from Nico Rosberg out in the pit box, and then just didn't touch the car for a good few seconds. 3.9 second pit stop, very slow, and that just shows the gap to Ricciardo, who must have had a 2.5 or lower pit stop. And he's overtaken us in the pit lane, boys, which is absolutely huge, because now on lap 11 Daniel Ricciardo is 2.2 seconds ahead of us. We just couldn't keep Ricciardo behind. A better driver, better car at the moment. The McLaren seems to have incredible pace, and our car, which was the best car on the vehicle comparison chart at one point, even though I didn't feel like it because we weren't beating the McLarens, I mean the Red Bulls and Mercedes, it was the top car at one point, and now it's struggling to even pass the Aston Martin there of Lance Stroll, who comes out of the pits so slow, and we almost made contact. Had to really focus there not to make contact with Stroll. He comes out to the pits on medium tyres. We're going to go very late on the brakes. Stroll manages not to turn into us. He sees us last minute. A bit aggressive there from us, but we make a nice move, nice overtake on Lance Stroll, and there's still a few more people to pit maybe on different strategies, but we're in P14. Remember, we were riding in P10, P9 around there when we were battling Lewis Hamilton, who is actually in front of Yuki Tsunoda now. So Hamilton going with the undercut, he's actually gained 3 places going with that strategy, and obviously we had such a slow pit stop, it cost us even more time, because if you imagine Lewis was less than a second behind us, if his pit stop was 2.9 seconds or less, he would have overtaken us by a whole second and then been out of DRS range, which is just absolutely huge. And we go out onto the grass there, managed to come off the throttle before we spin the car. Lance Stroll going up the inside with DRS though. Can we try and make a move back on Lance, who is on those faster medium tyres, fresh out the pits just 1 lap ago. I think those tyres are only 1 lap old, but Lance Stroll, we're going to have DRS coming down the home straight in a moment. on Stroll. He has a little wobble coming out of the corner, and we copy him exactly coming through there. So here we go, tucking into the slipstream now, using our battery once we cross the line, and we're going to have DRS on Lance Stroll heading into turn 1. Is there going to be an opportunity? Just about make it through turn 1, but we go into the grass there. Very sloppy from me, very sloppy race. Australia, not one of my favourite circuits, I can't lie. Last game on F1 2020, I'd actually really liked the Australian Grand Prix, and I was really looking forward to it this season on my team, but yeah, it just wasn't a good race for us. Now, Lewis Hamilton behind us again. I think he's on a 2-stop strategy here. He's on medium tyres. Lewis Hamilton comes out behind. We're in P12, battling to try and make it back to the top 10. But Tsunoda, the guy in front of us, 5 seconds away. And Sebastian in the top 10, 8.8 seconds away. We're closing the gap to Tsunoda very slightly, or ever so slightly. But we do have Lewis behind us still. And again, this is where hindsight kicks in while I do this post-commentary and think, why did I battle Lewis so hard? And again, like I say, I'll talk about that more at the end, but we go very slow through that section there, and there's a yellow flag and somebody is off into the gravel trap, and that is going to be Lewis Hamilton in the gravel as we come through this middle sector. Very fast sector, but we go very slow through it. Let's see what happens to Lewis. He tries to make a move around the outside and just completely overshoots it. Too much speed, gets off into the gravel, and he's going to lose about 3 or 4 places there. We can see another replay of that. Lewis tries to go around the outside, just very poor from Lewis Hamilton. Would not expect something like that, a mistake like that, to come from a man like Lewis. But he has lost a place to Gasly and to Lance Stroll, and maybe one of the Alpines as well. So Lewis had a stinker there. Now we have Pierre Gasly on soft tyres behind us, 9 laps left in this race. We are in P11, so obviously somebody else did pit. We get a track limit warning there. 4.7 seconds the gap to Tsunoda. We've closed the gap by 3/10 from 2 laps ago. But here comes Pierre Gasly around the outside with the DRS open. We go very late on the brakes there. Managed to get the car rotated mid-corner very nicely indeed and make a move on Pierre Gasly. That was a very risky one from me. If Gasly took a different line there was contact and our front wing was gone. But we managed to get the car rotated nicely. And Tsunoda is in the pits, boys. Yuki Tsunoda must have started the race on those hard tyres from P22, remember. So we overtake Yuki Tsunoda, and we are up into the top 10 now, so we are in the points, but we go very late and deep into the corner there because I saw Pierre Gasly looking one up the inside, and there goes Pierre Gasly yet again with the DRS, and he's going to make a pass into turn 2 on those soft tyres. Maybe we should have went with this strategy as well and started on the hards and gone for the softs later on in the race, but yeah, we didn't, and now it's cost us a place and cost us the points maybe, because now Gasly is out of DRS range as we head towards the next DRS zone. I don't think we're going to get it because he's just, yeah, there we go, he's just pulled out of that 1 second gap, so we are now sat in P11. Very unfortunate indeed. Can we try and stick with Pierre? I doubt it on these worn hard tyres. There is another yellow flag though behind us here on lap 21. Let's see what's going on. It's going to be Lance Stroll, a guy we were fighting beforehand. Lance Stroll is going to have an engine failure and retire from this race in Australia. Getting back to us now on lap 24. We do have Lewis Hamilton behind us yet again. This guy's an absolute beast. He doesn't give up. He really doesn't give up, boys. He's made up a place on Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, George Russell. I think those are the guys he fell out to when he went off the track. He's got DRS again. He goes around the outside on fresher medium tyres. They're going to be faster tyres. We push him a little bit on the exit to that corner there and manage to stay ahead. We've got 5 laps remaining now. Can we keep Lewis Hamilton behind for 5 laps? There would be absolutely no point in doing it, but we're going to fight anyway because I don't give up positions easy as we go very late on the brakes there. Very, very late. I think that might have been a replay of what we've just seen. Heading towards this next section now where Lewis did go off on a previous lap. He is 4/10 behind us. He will have DRS though coming down this next straight. As you can see, we go very late and deep on the brakes there again. Just terrible driving from us really. This whole race was just terrible driving. And we're heading towards the sector again. Lewis wants to make a move around the outside. Can we go too wide through this section? It's going to be tight as we come through. We carried a lot more speed than the last time, but Lewis is going to have DRS and he's going to be a lot faster. I think we had a little bump on the wall there as well. We're going to go deep on the brakes yet again, push Lewis on the exit to that corner. Like I say, I don't know why I was even fighting Lewis so hard, because if we did release Lewis, we're outside the points anyway right now, so if we did release Lewis, maybe he could have went to get a podium in this race, because you know how fast Lewis Hamilton is, come on. Maybe he could have went and pushed, you know, and overtaken both Ferrari cars who are obviously in front of us, and both McLaren cars who are in front of us. Maybe Lewis could have nicked some points off of them guys while we're finishing outside the points here. So I don't know why, I really don't know why in hindsight I didn't let Lewis go past. But he's going to send one up the inside here. Nice driving from us to give him the space to make that move up the inside. Now he goes around the outside, but we get a bit close for comfort. And like I say, boys, I'm watching this back now as I'm commentating over it, thinking, why didn't I let him pass, bro? Like, we've lost a second or 2 seconds to Gasly. Another half tenth or 4 tenths there to Gasly. 13 seconds ahead now, lap 25. I really don't know why I didn't let Lewis overtake us. Very poor from me to not do that. But anyway, here he goes. Can he make an overtake? We're going to go late on the brakes again, get the inside line and cut him off on the exit and stay ahead. And I'm watching this now, really frustrated with myself that I didn't let Lewis pass, and we're battling hard. And while I'm racing this race, I'm thinking, yeah, this is good driving for me, racing against Lewis Hamilton. But in hindsight, like I say, hindsight is 2020 as they call it. But like, it was just poor for me, bro. Lap 26 now. Pierre Gasly nearly 15 seconds ahead. The gap was at 1.10 seconds, and now he's increased it. We're still going green on these hard tyres though in our sector times, and here comes Lewis again. Can he make the move now up the inside? There's going to be a bit of contact, and Lewis has spun. Lewis Hamilton has spun. There was contact with our back tyre there as Lewis sent a move up the inside, and he's lost out on a few places again. We can see we go very wide there. I tried to give Lewis the space up the inside, but somehow he still makes contact with us and spins off there. As you can see, it looks like he straightens up his steering a little bit as he approached the curb and then hit the curb and knocked, obviously, the rear tyre of our car. We go so wide, as you can see, to try and give Lewis the space to not cause a collision there. But somehow, he still manages to cause a collision with us. So, he does spin out. He manages to keep the car out of the wall though, and intact. He's lost a place to George Russell and Fernando Alonso. We'll have to wait and see if he can make those positions back. Because it is Lewis Hamilton, anything can happen. We saw him spit off into the gravel before and he made up 4 places and still came back to attack us. Now Gasly has lost a place to Vettel. He did overtake him momentarily, but he's lost a place again. There's another yellow flag just in front of us here as we come across the line to start lap 28, and it's going to be the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly just in front of us. Pierre Gasly, who is in P10, is going to retire from the race, boys, with engine failure, which means once we snap back to our driver's camera, we do move up, boys. Once we overtake Pierre at the end of this straight, we are going to move up into P10. So maybe it was a good thing, actually, that we didn't let Lewis pass, because we are now into the points. We're not going to be able to catch Sebastian. You know, 2 laps left. We're not going to catch 15 seconds on Sebastian. But we do actually get blue flags now from Sergio Perez, who goes ahead to win the race. And because we got lapped on the home straight, it was very weird. We got lapped on the home straight, so we finished the race a lap earlier. We do finish in P10 inside the point. It's only 1 point, but every point counts at this stage. Yuki Tsunoda, the driver of the day, starting from P22. We'll have to wait and see where he finished. But boys, like I say, maybe if we did let Lewis pass, he could have took some points off McLaren and Ferrari. But who knows how big the difference would have been from the points he took off them to the extra point that we gained from finishing inside the top 10. And maybe he would have even took points off Nico. We'll have to wait and see where Nico finished. But that is Lando Norris's McLaren. I've just seen on the podium, boys. Huge points for McLaren there. That is unfortunate. Sergio Perez, though, winning the Australian Grand Prix. The man who finished 3rd in his home race this past weekend in Mexico. But he obviously gets the W here in Australia. I'm sure Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo wish they could have swapped places, so Ricciardo got a podium in his home GP, but Max Verstappen finishing P2. The Red Bulls just a different class this season on the career mode, similar to Bottas last year in the Mercedes on the first season of the career mode. The Red Bulls have just been a different class, really, and Max an absolute animal on this game. Lando, like I say, we'll have to wait and see the standings and see how much that affects us. But Lando Norris P3, Sainz and Leclerc P5 and P6. Big points for the Ferrari there, 18 points for them. Nico Rosberg up from P9 into P7. Solid drive from Nico with the equipment he's got at his disposal. P7 for Nico, that is 6 points, and we finished P10, so that is 7 points for us. Daniel Ricciardo finishing in P8 there as well. More points for McLaren. Not what we like to see, boys. Not what we like to see. Lewis Hamilton finishes the race in P13 at the end of the race there after the spin. And we have now lost a place to Ferrari in the constructors' standings. Ferrari have moved up to 4th place, 3 points ahead of us. McLaren pulling further ahead. And it looks like with one race to go, McLaren have secured that 3rd place spot, unless something crazy happens in Abu Dhabi, the final race of the season. Now it's really a battle for 4th place, with Ferrari only 3 points in it between us and Ferrari with one race to go. 3 points in it between me and Daniel Ricciardo as well for P5 in the driver's standings. But boys, like I say, one race left. And it's going to be the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix before we move on to Season 3. Now I'm really looking forward to Season 3. Because we are going to have a better car. You know, once we get the money to upgrade the facilities, we're looking at the facilities right now. We're going to have a better car. We're going to have a new teammate in the 2nd seat. Or are we? Let me know in the comments. Should we keep Nico? Should we get a different teammate? Let me know in the comments for that. Let me know what engine we should get. You know, I'm thinking about sticking with Ferrari. You know, I don't really want to change the engine because it was a big jump from the Mercedes engine in 1st season to the Ferrari in 2nd season. So I want to stick with the same engine provider, I think, for at least for Season 3. And like I say, different calendar. We're only going to have 16 races in the next calendar, and I've already sorted it out. It looks very fun, the order of races that we have to come in Season 3. I cannot wait to get to it. Abu Dhabi Grand Prix next on Monday. Hit like on this video, hit subscribe if you're new, turn on the notification bell if you haven't already. And with that being said, that's going to be at the end of the video, boys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the vibes. I will catch us next time. Take it easy.